what is the difference between Allah and Allah?
Elah, okay, that's a good linguistic question. The letter E is like a pronoun, all right? So E means the. So the word Elah is an elision of A. The letter E is pronounced A in Yoruba. And the word Allah. Allah is light. So Elah means the light, capital T, the light. Okay, but it's not the light of a light wave. It's the light of what the ancient Egyptians in their infinite wisdom called a longitudinal light beam. A longitudinal light beam is a light beam that functions at 432 hertz and which has no wave. It's a straight line. The light beam of Elah, unlike a light wave, which is a curly-Q thingy, the light of Elah gets stronger as it moves away from source. And as it moves away from source, it continues in the universe until it hits the edge of the universe and returns to its source. So it's a biofeedback system. So Elah is the key component for unleashing the potential for free energy that we find in the Odu Ije So Elah is both a metaphysical principle, an important ethical concept, but it is also the fundamental idea with regard to what I call Ifa science and the ability to use alchemy to transform one element into another and make a better world. And the thing that's amazing is Spirit's going to give us this information whether we want it or not. Mediums of Elah can really explain all that in depth, but right now the best medium for Elah I've encountered who's explaining all the paleoscience of Odu Ifa is an actor named Terrence Howard. I'm not even sure he knows what Ifa is, but everything I've heard him say about science matches the liturgical Yoruba that describes Ifa in Odu Ifa. The other person who really had a handle on the Ifa understanding of Elah is Nikola Tesla. He used the concepts we find in Odu Ifa to generate free energy. Absolutely.
Wow. And bottom line is free energy is a real thing. That we don't really need this grid that we.
Oh yeah. Well, is it a free thing? You want to know if free energy is a real thing? You want to know? You want to test that for yourself?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, do this. Next time you're around somebody, have them rub their hands like this. And then have them put their hands like this so that the palms face each other. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And then you put your hand between those two hands and tell me if you feel something. If you feel something, that means this has generated energy. We call that energy Ashe. That Ashe comes from Allah. Allah connects to humans in a spiritual form that we call Elah.
Mm. And that's what they do in Reiki.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing.
And also in that other thing that they do with where it got outlawed, I forget what it's called. Like in China, it was a big thing. They outlawed it. The
Qigong. Yeah, Qigong. Yeah.
Qigong. So
my grandfather analyzed the resonant frequencies of what we call Odu and used it to effectively heal cancer and other terminal illnesses. The AMA took away his medical license and made him stop. Stanford studied his technology twice. Both times they confirmed that it was effective. My grandfather had Nikola Tesla make the machines that generated the resonance that produced those results. And all that technology was based on scientific exploration of frequency and healing that was done in ancient Egypt.
Wow. And see, and is it based on like sound and tonation of actual notes? Because they have this thing now called PEMF.
Yeah, it is actual notes. Listen, you know what solfege is? You know what that means? Solfege.
Yeah, I'm a musician.
Okay, do re mi fa sol la ti.
Yeah.
Okay, that was invented by the Egyptians.
Mm.
But it's also those sounds. There's a It's whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. If you graph that in a chart, it makes the Fibonacci curve, or the golden mean of a seashell pattern, which is sacred to Obatala. But the key interval in that creation of the spiral is the relationship between Do and Fa, right? But in the original Egyptian system of solfege, Do was called E. So we go to the fundamental resonant harmony of creation, and you pronounce it in ancient Coptic Egyptian by the words E-Fa. Hello. Where do you think the word came from? It's an expression.
Wow.
Yes, it's a symbol of the resonant frequencies that creates everything.
Wow. Fa, like boom. And so that is why when we talk about the drum, we talk about all these different things that are a part of it. This is really based in about sound.
Yes, and here's the real miracle. All right. The Ariki that were used to put you in possession during your initiation was passed to you from your elders, and it was passed to them by their elders. The words in those Arikis create an automatic link with the correct frequency. It's called Ofo Ashe. You're a musician. If I say I want you to sing every pitch between middle C and C above middle C and break it up into 256 different frequencies, you wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think there's any human alive that'd be able to do it. But you are able to do it when you say the Ofo Ashe, or the words of power, in the Ariki, because your brain locks in automatically to those frequencies, which is how we're how we're able to access Ashe and pass it from one generation to another. That's why the traditions are so important, and that's why it's really shameful that instead of spending time with our elders to gain access to that wisdom, we're just making stuff up.
So you have a person, real quick. Divination is haram in Islam. Why do you think that is?
Well, divination, haram. I said in Islam. Okay, so divination, as it's practiced in Ifa, is based on divination as it was practiced in ancient Egypt, and the text, instead of being Odu Ifa, was the emerald tablets. All right, so in Egypt they referred to divination as sand cutting. When the Muslims came into Egypt, they took over that system and they replaced the text of the Book of the Dead with the Quran, which is normal, I think, and also in the Bible, the Ifa divination is called casting of lots. In the Bible, in the ancient times, in Jewish culture, you had a handful of sticks. You grab some. If you had one stick, you marked 2 marks in the sand. If you grabbed two sticks, you marked 1 mark in the sand. Sand cutting, absolutely exactly the same thing as Odu Ifa, except the verses for sand cutting in Hebrew tradition are based on the Torah. And the Torah is a coded reference to the frequencies used in alchemy, and the stories are just a way of holding those secret doctrines.
Right, and that's where I was like kind of getting into like that. The Torah was at one point a thing used for priests to do, but it's okay. But all right, so I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. It's almost
That's all right. I'm good for another few minutes. Keep going.
okay, because I remember I was saying that I believe that the Torah, was equivalent to E5 at one point, an oral tradition that the Levitical priests used, and that it was a certain thing that wasn't even done to even get those laws out. That when you would go to the Levitical priest, this is how things were done. But as time went on, those things became like a book. People read the Torah.
Yeah, listen, the history is a little more clear, but it's definitely suppressed. All right, so let's talk about the history for a minute. Those ideas were developed in ancient Egypt. When Alexander the Great, in quotes, took over Egypt and made himself the pharaoh, the esoteric wisdom of Egypt went into hiding. It went into the mountains along the Hamagadi, it's called, and they were coded into books about Christ consciousness that then migrated into Ethiopia and became the foundation for the Ethiopian Bible.